All right, so this free refinance thing is a bunch of bullshit. All right, I see lenders advertising this, but in reality, there's no free lunch. I'm going to show you what this free refinance, this no-cost refinance, what it actually is. I call them increased rate refinances because what's really going on is this. All right, when you refinance a loan, you can't just go call your payment collector and have them wave a magic wand and lower the rate. All right, because remember, in episode 19, I told you that after closing, mortgage companies sell your loan behind the scenes, all right, without you realizing, to Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, and then they package up the loan, interest rate rights off to an investor. A lot of times it then gets packaged up into like a security, part of somebody's 401k account. And that investor that Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac sells the loan to is only willing to take on your loan at the initial interest rate that it was initially set at. Okay, they're not going to get just sympathetic for you all of a sudden and say, oh, you can pay us a lower interest rate all of a sudden. Ain't going to work like that. Okay, so instead, to lower your interest rate, you close your current loan out and then open up a brand new one. Now, to open up a brand new loan, what has to happen? Okay, services have to be performed for you. These have costs. There could be an appraisal involved. There's going to be mortgage processing and underwriting work on it to make sure you qualify for the new loan. There's going to be a new title search done by the title company. There's going to be government taxes placed on this. There's going to be other fees involved, okay? So you can get a lower rate, albeit with costs, and those costs have to be paid for somehow, okay? So remember the choosing my rate video that I posted way back when, where you got to increase your interest rate to cover closing costs, or you got to lower your interest rate to pay more closing costs? Well, that's basically what's happening here. Okay, that's what these advertisers are alluding to, okay, is this scenario where you increase your rate to where it covers all the closing costs. All right, and that's not free. Okay, it comes with a higher rate and payment, but that's what they're telling you is going on. They're telling you, oh, well, it's a no-cost refi. That's how they're branding it, okay? I think it's fraudulent advertising. But these companies, they can legally do this with how advertising rules are set up by calling it a no-cost refinance. But again, they're really just trading out closing costs for a higher rate. Now, on an average scenario, and this is just hypothetical, and all scenarios are different, but on a typical situation, you know, when somebody gets the opportunity to refinance, I'll see somebody with option one to do a traditional refinance by adding, let's say, $4,000 in closing costs on their loan amount. And then they would then be given an option number two to basically increase the rate to cover those $4,000 worth of closing costs, but increasing that rate and not increasing the loan balance, that would actually increase the payment by about $100 or more. Now, this is just hypothetical, but this is like what we see every day as loan officers. We're actually giving people refinance quotes, and when we're giving them, you know, the option to have no closing costs or the option to have their standard set of closing costs with a lower rate. Okay, and people almost always take the closing costs. It's better for the long run. Okay, now that is the case. They're going to take those closing costs. Usually, you even are going to end up taking those closing costs unless you don't plan on staying in that home for very long, okay? That's really the only time where these increased interest rate refinances would make much sense. But this is even more of a reason to build a relationship with your lender and take time with them and not just jump at the latest fad or marketing trick, okay? Now, with all of that being said, I just said all that stuff, you know, these free refinances are junk. Well, that being said, on a jumbo loan, yes, it's possible you can get a refinance without those costs. Used to be at one where, you know, these jumbo loans, the investor holds the paper. They don't sell it off. They don't sell those interest rate rights off to Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, so they can kind of do what they want with it afterwards. Sometimes these jumbo lenders, when rates come down, they just are willing to not go through that whole process of qualifying you again, throwing you through all those extra costs and title, and they'll just drop your rate sometimes. But if you guys are thinking about a refinance, happy to give you guys some scenarios, show you what the payments and closing costs would be with and without closing costs. And we can run through the break-even dates on both of those and just figure out what would work best for you. Happy to talk to you. Shoot me a line over email or text, and we can get going on that. Thank you.